Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here, Capnclyde's MTG, and we're back. Trade tables and seat backs full upright position. We have a new day and new spoilers. I didn't look at any of them, although I did get a few peeks while I was doing a little cutting and pasting. And boys, there's some wild stuff in this one, I think. We're going to have to check it out and see. Before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when all these go up. And it helps feed the YouTube algorithm if you comment down below. Let's get a little support for the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you want to help monetarily wise, which is always appreciated, check out the description. There's a link to the eBay store where all my box opening series videos, those cards go on sale there. And I have a couple boxes for sale. Modern Horizons 2, Double Masters box. I'll open them on the channel and send them to you. Prices are in the description link, along with my email for you to hit me up if you want to do that. If you want, I can put it on eBay as a private auction, but it will charge you tax and it will charge me money. Shipping's always free though. So, without further ado, let's get on it and check out the new cards for today. First up, we have the Blood Hypnotist. It's a red and 2 for a 3/3 vampire, which is pretty sweet. Can't block though. That's okay, it's 3/3, but it also says whenever you sacrifice one or more blood tokens, target creature can't block this turn. This ability triggers only once each turn. So not terrible. Going to be great for limited just because 3 mana for a 3/3 that's always swinging is going to be great in your aggro decks. It might even see some standard play because 3 mana for a 3/3 is pretty good. But we're going to have to wait and see only because there's a lot of good stuff coming out. And that 3 mana slot's really starting to get clogged up. So we'll have to wait and see. But I really only think this is going to be good and limited. Next, moving right along, we have Old Roston. Anyway, so black, green, and 1 for a 1/4 human peasant. He's legendary because all peasants are. When Old Roston enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, you mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure token. Interesting. If a creature is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect token. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token. So if there's graveyard shenanigans, this is definitely the way to get them going. I think this is probably going to see standard play in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what yet, but this seems too good to pass up with some of the other discard, mill synergies, and graveyard stuff. Might even see something in Pioneer, possibly, just because 3 mana for 1/4 is not terrible. It does lots of stuff. In Limited, I want to say it's going to be good, but the fact that you have to mill every turn could actually just mill you out. But depending on what's going on, could also be a winning strategy. So we'll have to wait and see how this card goes. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Moving right along, next we have the Spiked Ripsaw, also known as Chainsaw. Anyway, so for green and 2, equipped creature gets +3/+3. When equipped creature attacks, you may sacrifice a forest. Funny. If you do, that creature gains trample. Why does sacrificing a forest gain trample? Anyway, so it's 3 to lay, 3 to equip. It's uncommon. This might see limited play, but it's really pushing it because it's way too much money. Mana. Not to mention it's not going to see play anywhere else because ain't nobody going to be sacrificing force. Anyway, moving right along. Next we have, whoops, nothing to see here. Okay, next we have Markov the Purifier for a black, white, and 1. It's a vampire cleric. It's 2/3, so with lifelink, it's okay for the mana cost. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you may pay 2 colorless if you do draw a card. That seems really powerful because this has lifelink, which means you can swing, pay 2, draw a card. It's very mana intensive. It's going to be great in limited. We're going to have to wait to see how it plays in standard. There's already a really good cleric deck with a lot of Kaldheim cards. This is a cleric. It's got 3 toughness on the butt. There's a lot of life to gain. Plus it has lifelink, and the other clerics, when they die, let you get clerics out of the graveyard from, oh my god. I'm gonna, Innistrad's on my brain, it's not Innistrad. Zendikar, ugh. All the cleric synergies from Zendikar. This may be something good enough for standard. Definitely limited. You might see this pop around in the commander deck here and there. Next we have a nice flip rare. We have the Mirror Hall Mimic. So for a blue and 3, it's a 0/0. The Mimic enters the battlefield as a copy of a creature on the battlefield, except it's a spirit in addition to other types. So it's basically clone. Yeah. Last time I checked, Clone was pretty sweet. um, on the backside, Ghastly Mimicry, it becomes an enchantment for Disturb 5. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token as a copy of enchanted creature except it's a spirit in addition to other types. If Mimicry is put in the graveyard from anywhere, exile it. This thing is bonkers. You put this on something, it starts spitting out extra dudes. So this is a really powerful rare. This is easily going to be a $10 rare. Great in Commander. Going to be amazing in Limited because if you don't kill the thing this thing's enchanting, it's just going to spit out dudes for days. Um, and in Standard, if there's a good enough deck around blue to make this viable, I don't see how it couldn't be good. I mean, you have to kill the creature before the upkeep, or it's just going to do its shenanigans over and over and over. So, yeah, I think this might have some legs, guys. So, moving right along, next we have the Bramble Worm. Because who doesn't need Big Worm? Big Worm! 1 green and 6 for a 7/6. It's a little on the higher side. But it has Reach and Trample, which is not flying, so it's not Flample. It'd be Rample, I guess. Anyway, when Bramble Worm enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. For green and 2, you can exile the worm from your graveyard to gain 5 life. This could probably be top end in limited formats. I mean, 7/6 with Reach and Trample, that's just nuts. Plus, you can gain life in case they do manage to kill it so that you can stay alive. I don't think it's going to see play anywhere else unless there's some weird graveyard shenanigan thing going on. And even if there is, I think there's better things to jerk out of the graveyard than your big worm. But bum. Anyway, moving right along. We have Graph Reaver. Now, this is one I peeked at earlier, and this seems really good, guys. A black and 2 for a 3/3, and it has exploit. When you exploit it, you destroy target creature. You destroy a exploited creature, you destroy a target planeswalker. At the beginning of your upkeep, it does 1 damage to you. It's like a little Juzum Jin that if you need to, you can just cast it, sacrifice itself, and destroy a planeswalker with it. This thing just seems really good to me. Yeah, you take 1 to deal 3, but let's be honest. I mean, Juzum Jin was great back in the day. This is going to be amazing for a black aggro deck. I really think we're getting a black aggro deck lined up pretty quick. Black zombie aggro. This is going to be really good in limited, really good in standard. This might even see Pioneer and Modern play because it's cheap enough. It does some stuff. Yeah, this might be a thing. I mean, honestly, probably not going to see Modern. But anyway, we can always dream. So, Screaming Swarm. That is the most terrifying bird I've ever seen. Anyway, for a blue and 5, you get a 4/4 flyer. So, 6 mana. That's a bit steep. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, target player mills that many cards. Ooh, wow. For a blue and 2, put Screeching Swarm from your graveyard into your library, second from the top. This is going to be phenomenal in sealed. If you can start getting this on the board and start milling your opponent, plus punch them in the face, you're going to win one way or another. They're going to run out of cards, you're just going to kill them. Because of the mana cost, it's probably not going to see any play anywhere else except maybe Commander. But even then, for 6 mana, there's a lot more broken degeneracy that you could be doing. So probably a limited card only. Moving right along, we have the Parasitic Grafts. So for a black and 1 instant, it deals 3 damage to target human creature and you gain 3 life. Now, it has Cleave, which means it can take human off there and deal 3 damage to target creature and you gain 3 life. This seems, with the reprinting of Hero's Downfall, I don't think this is going to see play. However, with that said, this is a great alternative if Red Rush or aggro decks become really big, because the ability to deal 3 damage to a human or just a creature in general for 3 mana when you cleave it and gain your 3 life back can help you win the game. Plus, this may start slotting into some sideboards against aggro decks in Modern or maybe Pioneer because of the cheap cost, the fact that it deals damage and you gain life. So we're gonna have to wait and see how the format shifts. Hero's Downfall is definitely gonna be big, but this damage and life gain may be better in some formats. So very, very interesting to see this one. Next, we have the Wandering Mind, which is a brain with wings. It's gross. Anyway, so for a red, blue, and 1, you get a 2/1 flyer, which isn't the greatest, but on par, basically, 2/1, and it flies. When Wandering Mind enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That seems really good, actually. This is going to be a great card for limited. Um, yeah. And depending um, on how this card is played and what people decide to do with it, could be really good in standard because this is in Is It Dragon or Is It Time Walk colors, and it says a non-creature, non-land, which means you can literally look at the top 6 cards of your library for a Time Walk for 3 mana. So it's a good setup card. You can look for removal. I think this might have legs in standard, not just in limited. And in commander, I mean it's kind of a tutor, 6 cards deep is pretty sweet. Non-creature, non-land, and get them mana rocks out. I think it has some legs. I think it might be a good card to play. So moving right along, we have the Headless Rider, or we could just call it the Headless Horseman, but that's a different card in Magic. But anyway, so for a black and 2, you get 3/1. Whenever the Headless Rider or another non-token zombie you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie. So this is going to be really good in that mono black aggro deck I keep telling you shaping up. Um, because as your black creatures die, you just make more zombies. And notice these zombies don't have decay, so they stay around, which is really cool. So this is probably easily a $5 rare, if not more, depending on how this deck shapes up. Great and limited, probably not anything in modern. Pioneer, maybe. So we have Alluring Suitor, red and 2 for a 2/3. When you attack with exactly 2 creatures, you get to transform them. When you transform, it becomes the Deadly Dancer. Dun, 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 dun. He is a 3/3 Trampler. When he transforms, you add 2 red until the end of your turn. You don't lose the mana. And for 2 red, the Deadly Dancer and another target creature get +1/+0 till end of turn. So pretty sweet. You can always pump him yourself. And red, this might be a decent card in a mono red deck just because you can make him really big with extra mana. It's a good mana sink. It's cheap. So we'll see. I think on the just stuff though, I think there's better things to do with this or with your mana on this level. So probably just limited all star, and that's really gonna be about it. Moving right along, we have whatever this is. All right, don't worry, I'm back. I googled it. So what this is the Vaultic Visionary for 1 red and 1. You get a creature, human, wizard. Uh, for tapping it, he deals 2 damage to you. Exile top card of your library. You can then play that card this turn. Activate only whenever you could cast a sorcery. So sorcery speed. When you play an exiled card with the missionary, you get to transform him. When you transform him, he becomes a 4/3 berserker that can't block. So probably gonna be really good and limited, um, just because he'll transform really early. Um, he's still only gonna swing probably on turn 4, but he's still something you get out cheap and early. Plus, maybe even cast a card from top of your library. So I think this is gonna be a really good card limited. That's probably gonna be the only place it's really good. It might get better depending on how Red Rush shapes up because it is 2 mana. So there is a possibility that there could, or you could see some action with that. So moving right along. Next we have Glorious Sunrise. Oh look, it's all the kids. Anyway, um, 2 green and 3 for an enchantment. It says at the beginning of the combat on your turn, you choose one. Creatures you control get +1/+1 to gain trample. Or target land gains add 3 mana. Or you draw a card if you control a creature with power 3 or greater. Or you gain 3 life. This seems really, really good. It does lots of good things. And in the right style of deck, this could be very devastating. Even though it is 5 mana, I mean, mana ramp is a thing, and this could be very deadly in a deck like that. Just because you can gain 3 life every turn, draw cards, get more mana from more spells. Like, creatures can get big quick with trample. I think this is going to be really good and limited. Probably going to see some standard play. I mean, we're already using the green card that doubles people's attack and defense. Um, and definitely going to see some commander play out of this. This is easily a $5 card. Personal opinion. Moving right along, we have the Belligerent Guest, which is a red and 2 trample. When death deals combat damage to play, you create a blood token. I think I've already reviewed this one. And it has trample. So, yeah, I think I've already reviewed this one. How'd this get in here? Anyway, next we have the Runebound Wolf. For a red and 2, you get a 2/2. For a red and 3, you can tap it. It deals damage equal to the number of wolves and werewolves you control to target opponent. So this is a great finisher. I don't know how good it's going to be in. I mean, it's going to be good in limited. I just don't know how much because there's not a lot of wolves because this is a vampire set. This wolf should have been in the last set where there was werewolves. Anyway, um, It might see play in Standard. I highly doubt it. But it might be in those Commander Werewolf decks, so pick you up a foil one while you can. Next, moving on, we have Into the Night. It's a red and 3 sorcery. It says it becomes night, period. And then you discard any number of cards, draw that many +1. So it basically replaces itself, and it becomes night. So this could be really good in those werewolf decks, just because you can make it go to night with one spell and then draw a bunch of cards, or at least replace a card in your hand. The bad thing about this is it's a sorcery, so you have to use it on your turn. So if you do use it, you have extra mana, you get a second spell. You can't turn it back. You can't cast it without everything going back to the day, unless just turn everything to night so you can swing in with those big fat werewolves and you don't care it goes back to day shift at the end of the day. Let's see. I don't think it's gonna see any play really. Next we have Sanctify. Basically, it's a better disenchant. It's a white and 1, destroy target artifact or enchantment, but you gain 3 life. The real drawback here, though, it's not an instant. I don't know how much instant matters in this select format as far as draft goes, but I don't think it does so much. So the 3 life may matter, and this is a good removable spell. I mean, it's disenchant light, so it can't be that bad. This might even see play in Standard just because, I mean, as long as you have it in your hand so you can disenchant on the fly. But other than that, you probably want those kind of effects that just kill on instant speed so that when they activate their, Cadillac Chariot, that you can just zap it so their creatures are tapped and can't swing at you. So, we'll see how it goes. Next here we have, oh yes, Harikia Domnafi. So for 2 black and 2, you get a 1/3 flyer at the beginning of combat on your turn. You choose one that hasn't been chosen yet, which is each player sacrifices a creature. Cool. You draw a card and lose a life. Cool. Or you get to transform them. Now, if you transform her, which means you get to do the other 2 first if you're lucky, now you have a 3/4 flying, death touch, life Lincoln bad boy. And for a black and 2, each creature you control with flying, death touch, and or life link gets +1/+0 to end a turn. So this can really be a thing with all the death touchers out there. I think this card is going to be really good. It's going to see standard play, definitely going to see limited play. Other than that, it's probably going to see play in some vampire decks just because of all the extra stuff it does, to be honest with you. How much is it going to be worth? Probably not as much as people would like it to be. I'm going to guess around $5 to $7 tops. Just my personal opinion, though. So, moving right along, next we have the Weaver of Blossoms. So, green and 2 for a 2/3, not great. Add 1 mana of any color, pretty cool, has Daybound. When it becomes a 3/4, that's even better for 3 mana, and you can tap it to add 2 mana of any 1 color. Okay for green. Gonna be great in draft decks just because of the mana ramp and any color it will provide. Definitely not gonna see standard play. This is probably going to be a thing in commander decks. I'm not gonna lie to you. It just seems to do a little too much, and 3 mana is not terrible. It's almost as much as a rock. And it does just what you want it to do as a rock, except it's a creature. So you can actually beat people up with your rock. So, rock. And this is the last one of the day, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot for taking the time to hang out with me. A little bit of a longer video. As always, guys, any support's necessary. I really do thank you for letting me entertain you and supporting the channel. And as always, until next time, be kind. And I hope to see you across from the game table at the Crimson Valkyrie release. Guys, take it easy.